What if the quiet hum of a server room, the relentless ticking of a clock, could actually be the sound of opportunity slipping away? For years, that was the soundtrack to Alex's life. Day in and day out, he sat beneath the cold, flickering light of his office cubicle, surrounded by the muted chatter of colleagues and the stale scent of industrial-strength cleaner. His fingers danced across a keyboard, inputting data that felt increasingly meaningless, each click echoing the slow drain of his own potential. He was 29 in age when the world promised boundless possibilities, yet all Alex saw were the growing stacks of bills on his kitchen, counter the faded paint on his rented walls, and the distant, almost forgotten whisper of a life he'd once envisioned for himself. He felt trapped, a cog in a machine that moved tirelessly forward, leaving him behind. The struggle was a relentless undertow. Every morning, the alarm's shrill cry pulled him from the shallow reprieve of sleep, only to plunge him back into the familiar grind. The crowded subway commute, the endless stream of emails, the bland corporate lunches, it was a loop he couldn't break. His bank account rarely seemed to inch above zero, a constant source of low-level anxiety that gnawed at his peace of mind. He tried a few things on the side, small online ventures, but they always fizzled out, lost in the noise of daily demands and his own scattered efforts. One particularly bleak Saturday, wandering through a dusty, overflowing used bookstore, he stumbled upon a worn, leather-bound biography. Its title, faded with age, spoke of an immigrant's journey from rags to a steel empire. It was the story of Andrew Carnegie.
Alex.
Drawn by the sheer weight of its history, bought it, hoping for some fleeting escape from his own reality. He placed it on his nightstand, largely forgotten, another unread promise in a life full of them. Then came the lowest point. It was a late autumn evening, and a sudden, unexpected car repair bill landed in his mailbox, a four-figure shock that wiped out his meager savings. The old sedan, his only reliable connection to work, had finally given up, stared at the statement, the cold numbers mocking him from the crisp white paper. He felt a profound weariness settle deep in his bones, a feeling far heavier than any financial burden. It wasn't just the money. It was the sting of persistent failure, the crushing weight of dreams deferred, the quiet despair of seeing no clear path forward. He remembered the brief surge of hope when he'd first bought the Carnegie book, a hope that had long since evaporated. The book, still on his nightstand, felt like a silent reproach, a symbol of all the possibilities he couldn't seem to grasp. In the dead of that night, unable to sleep, Alex reached for it. He didn't know why, but the heavy cover felt solid in his hands. He flipped through the brittle pages, the scent of aged paper filling the small room. His eyes scanned passage after passage about Carnegie's early years, his relentless drive. Then, a paragraph caught him, a simple, almost blunt statement that seemed to leap from the page. Carnegie's steadfast belief in putting all his eggs in one basket, and then watching that basket. It wasn't about dabbling, the book explained, but about focusing every fiber of one's being, every ounce of effort, on a singular, well-defined aim. Carnegie hadn't spread himself thin. He had concentrated his forces, poured all his attention into steel, and built an empire from that one unwavering focus. A strange quiet settled over Alex. He'd always approached his side ventures with a try a little of everything mentality, never truly committing, never diving deep enough to overcome the inevitable early hurdles. That night, as the first light of dawn began to paint the sky, Alex made a choice. He wouldn't dabble anymore. He would pick one idea, one passion project he'd always considered but never truly pursued, designing simple, functional websites for local small businesses, and he would commit to it with a singular, unyielding focus, just as Carnegie had advocated. He started small, using his lunch breaks to learn new coding skills, waking up an hour earlier each day to build mock-up designs, and sacrificing weekend distractions for dedicated work sessions. He turned down casual invitations, explained to friends he was pursuing something important, and, for the first time, felt a deep sense of purpose. He faced rejections, clients who didn't understand his vision, and moments of doubt. But the image of Carnegie, steadfast and unyielding, kept him anchored. Then came the call. A small local bakery, after seeing his humble portfolio, decided to take a chance on him. It wasn't a massive contract, but it was his first real client, a tangible result of his concentrated effort. He remembered Andrew Carnegie's philosophy, a principle he lived by. The average person puts their all into nothing. The exceptional person puts their all into one thing. Carnegie, the impoverished immigrant, hadn't built his steel empire by diversifying his interests. He had done it by identifying a single powerful industry and pouring every ounce of his formidable will into mastering it. Alex, with his small but significant win, felt a powerful resonance with that truth. He meticulously crafted the bakery's website, treating it as if it were a multi-million-dollar project. The positive feedback, the surge of new customers the bakery reported, was more than just a financial gain. It was proof. Proof that focus, that singular dedication, could indeed move mountains, even small ones. He used the modest payment from the bakery to cover a significant portion of his car repair bill, a concrete victory that felt monumental after years of financial stagnation. Alex's transformation wasn't sudden or dramatic, but a gradual unfolding, like a plant slowly turning towards the sun. The constant hum of anxiety that had once defined his days began to fade, replaced by a quiet sense of purpose. He no longer felt like a trapped cog, felt like an architect, carefully laying the bricks of his own future. The change wasn't just in his bank account, which steadily grew as more local businesses sought his focused expertise. It was in his spirit. He moved with intention, his mind clear, his efforts directed. He had discovered that the path to a different life was unhidden in complexity or in chasing every fleeting opportunity, but in the power of deliberate, singular action. Like Alex, countless others throughout history have found their own paths to extraordinary achievement by embracing a similar truth. The stories of those who built empires, who reshaped industries, or who simply found their own quiet version of success often share this common thread: the courage to choose one direction, and the unwavering dedication to see it through. This truth, simple yet profound, still shapes lives today. It speaks not of magic, but of the immense power unleashed when one truly commits. The question isn't whether opportunity exists, but whether you're willing to focus on it, to pour your concentrated energy into that one chosen endeavor. The next step is closer than you think, waiting for your singular attention.